It's too cold.
Yep.
Okay, calling the meeting to order at 5:35 p.m. Parks and Recreation Commission meeting of January 27th, 2025. Roll call.
Commissioners, when I call your name, please indicate that you are present. Chair Moralia,
Present.
Vice Chair Colaginado,
Present.
Commissioner Admire,
Present.
Commissioner Davis,
Present.
Commissioner Diaz,
Present.
Commissioner Ferguson, Commissioner Fine,
Present.
Commissioner Finland,
Present.
Commissioner Nagaya,
Present.
Commissioner Ryan,
Present.
all members present.
Riley, yeah, I never know when the agenda is posted. So the agenda was posted in accordance with whatever rule that is. Last Wednesday, January 22nd. Did everybody get a chance to look at the minutes from November? Any changes to the minutes? Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion carries.
I have a feeling this part's gonna be short. We're coming to public comment now. This time has been set aside for members of the public to address the Parks and Recreation Commission on agenda items and items of general interest within the subject matter jurisdiction of the commission. Although the commission values your comments pursuant to the Brown Act, it generally cannot take any action on items not listed on the posted agenda. 3 minutes are assigned for each speaker. I don't see any live speakers unless one of you three wants to give public comment. Are there people on Zoom?
We do have members on Zoom. If you are joining us via Zoom, please use the raise hand feature to indicate that you'd like to speak. First up, we have Mary. Mary, if you can hear me, please go ahead.
Am I on?
Yep, can you hear us?
Well, I hope I'm on. Mary Barcelo, I'm an ambassador for USA Pickleball. I'm a contract instructor for Palm Springs, Palm Desert, and Rancho Mirage, and a tournament director. And first of all, I would like to thank Michael Finland for leading our ad hoc committee, working with the public, the city, and Kimley Horn, which is a great company, to get this new project on the way for pickleball courts. And I also would like to welcome Nicholas Gonzalez as the new Parks and Rec director. I've worked with 3 in 6 years and different directors, and I'm hoping he will stick around. And I would like to offer him a free lesson, a pickleball lesson, and get him out on the courts. Look forward to collaborating with Nick to offer great classes, great tournaments, and creating an amazing new 24-court premier facility. So I'm just here to give kudos to the people that have been working so hard and everybody on the ad hoc committee. And that's all I have.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Mary. Anyone else, Riley?
Okay, up next we have David Feldman. David, if you can hear me, you are welcome to speak. You have 3 minutes.
Okay, good evening, members of the commission, Director Gonzalez, and everybody. As again, following up on Mary's comments, want to thank Michael, the members of the commission who have been supporting the pickleball project and attending the various meetings involved in the nitty-gritty of getting this to completion and ready to go to the council for approval and then to bid. Thrilled that Nicholas is here and driving this project. It's clear that he has the determination and the zeal and the passion to actually get these courts built. They will be a huge contributor to the health and well-being of our residents and visitors. And we thank the commission for their support in moving this forward. And I hope I get a credit of a minute or so for my next comment in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that, David, but. Do we have anyone else, Riley?
Okay, Peter Henson, you are free to speak. Peter Henson, can you hear us? He's calling in, so it might take a minute to unmute. Peter, can you hear us? You might have to unmute yourself on the phone. Peter, we will try again in just a minute. Next up, we have T. Sanafora. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Okay, you have 3 minutes.
Thanks. Thanks, everyone. Welcome, Nick, and thanks, Michael, for leading the charge on the new pickleball courts. I just want to say ditto to what Mary and David said, but I'd also like to add just a comment about the structure of the ad hoc committee. As far as I've experienced, this is a unique feature that the Parks and Rec Department in Palm Springs has offered to the public. And I just want to say it's been a real pleasure working with the commissioners who participated and the general public, working as a liaison to the folks who play pickleball and have a passion for it. So thank you all for allowing that opportunity to members of the community, and to me specifically. I've really enjoyed it and I appreciate it. And I think the efforts of the ad hoc committee are obvious in terms of the outcome of the plans, and hopefully we'll have a very grand opening when we're finally done with the construction. So thanks, everyone. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. We have another guest joining via Zoom, Jim Seavey, you have 3 minutes. Jim, can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
There you are, yes, we can, thank you.
I sent email to Mr. Gonzalez last week. I have not received a response from him yet. I'd like to read that email to you now. Since Yvonne Wise resigned, we have had no information about the status of the project to replace the existing pickleball courts on DeBooth Park. This has led to an ever-increasing number of rumors that are causing significant problems amongst the pickleball players because no one has been able to get any info related to the following questions that we all have. 1, when will the construction begin? This question is becoming increasingly contentious for the numerous folks who are here from Canada, other US states, and other countries. They need to be able to plan for their return flights, etc., to say nothing of booking things for next year. 2, will the existing courts remain open during the construction? If not, will there be temporary arrangements made for play elsewhere in Palm Springs while construction is in progress? There have been rumors that the city was working with Palm Springs High School to get the tennis courts at the school striped for pickleball so we can play there during the construction. This would definitely be appreciated by the pickleball community. 3, how long will the courts be out of service? As in, how long will the demolition, and construction take? Rumors around, the latest is that it will take 1 year. This seems very unrealistic. Unless the contractor is going to use only 2 people with hand tools to demolish the existing court, and then use the same 2 with portable mixer and using bags of cement to pour the new courts. Having some experience in the construction industry, I do not see this project needing more than 3 or 4 months to start to finish, to remove the courts and pour new ones. And 1 month of this is for the concrete to cure after it's poured. The last we had heard from Yvonne, construction was to start January 1, and then that date was rescinded when she left, and we have heard nothing since. I have waited what I consider more than sufficient amount of time for you to address this matter since you took command of the P&R department. We really need to hear more about this from you. And unlike everybody else so far, I do not sing the praises of the ad hoc committee. They do not represent the people at DeMuth. There are people on that committee who don't play at DeMuth. It's absolutely disgusting what has gone on with this. There's no provision whatsoever for seating for people in the way of spectators or when there are more than 300 people there for tournaments. 98 people will be on those courts when they're fully built. Where are you going to put 100 to 200 more people who are there for a tournament to sit when there's no bleachers in between the courts? It makes no sense. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Seavey. Okay. Mr. Henson, we're gonna attempt your phone in one more time. You're gonna have to unmute on your side. Mr. Seavey, can you hear us?
Am I still here?
There you are. We can hear you.
I'm through.
Mr. Henson. Apologies. I can't get through to Mr. Henson.
Okay. Well, Mr. Seavey
Sure.
just told you that he wrote a letter and he had all these questions, and he sent me a copy of it some time ago. And it's all rumors. The ad hoc committee, we hardly know who they are. They don't give any information, blah, blah, blah. So when he did not get a response, I simply called, and I did get a call back, and he said it's going to be a year. And I came to the courts, and I told everybody, but there's so many rumors that nobody believed me. So I called back, and I said, give me something in writing. Well, at 3 o'clock today, Mr. Gonzalez sent me an email, and he told me that it's going to go to the commission or the council real quick. And when construction will begin, he didn't mention it's going to be the whole next season is completely kaput. Well, that's fine, but here's the problem. When we all got together and designed this thing, everything was wonderful, and we had a certain promise on the time frame. That's what Mr. Seavey was talking about. There's been no information given at all. It was wonderful when we designed this thing. Transparency, everybody had a word. I got in my 2 cents worth on a backboard. But now you're rushing this thing to the city council, and there's been no meeting for the questions that Mr. Seavey had. In 3 minutes, I can't possibly ask you to explain why it takes all this time when the tennis garden took 9 months to build. I think there's more concrete there. I could go on endlessly here. There's no point. But you need to have a meeting where the people that are unhappy with the time frame and having the whole season taken away from them, particularly those of us that live here, like Mr. Seavey and myself. I asked one fellow, now he's going to go to Cabo. He doesn't care. And there's word about the cost. No one talks about the cost. And I asked this guy, I said, suppose it costs $6.2 million. That's something that's being banded around. He says, what do I care? He doesn't live here. So my point is, really, you should go back to what we did in the beginning, where everybody has a say, because the time frame here is off, and we just don't understand why it took so long or why you're not doing it in the 6 months in the summer. So that's the problem, and just to rush it through without having any input at this time when we had tons of input at the beginning, it just doesn't, it has a bad look. It just has a bad look. Thank you. And thanks to Kylie, she's excellent.
Thank you, Mr. Henson. That concludes public comment.
The two gentlemen that entered late, do you, either one of you have public comment or no?
Yes, I would like to speak.
Come on up.
Okay. Good evening, all. I missed the beginning, so I'm not quite sure what people said, but I'm in agreement with what has just been said with the two gentlemen prior to me. Anyway, I've been a resident of Palm Springs since 2011. I retired from the LA Fire Department after 33 years of service. And at that time, the last 10 years, I was very involved with the city council budgets, timelines and delays. And although I know that does happen, it seems like the city of Palm Springs is failing in their mission statement to their community. Parks and Recreation is failing on their mission statement to the public as well. I can go ahead and read those comments from you or the mission statement. It says tourism is so important to our economy, and because tourism is so important to our economy, we really know how to entertain. The Parks and Rec mission statement says, PS is an inclusive, world-class city dedicated to providing excellent and responsive public service to enhance the quality of life for current and future generations. When I try to read that and comprehend that, I can't say that the city council or the city of Palm Springs is actually living by that mission statement or moving forward to try to obtain compliance with that mission statement. We deserve to be heard, the pickleball community, and we deserve to have some type of service from the city of Palm Springs and show that they are actually dedicated to this project. It seems like we talk about it and it gets delayed. There is no communication in terms of the website and or to us at all. If you go on the Public Parks and Rec website, you see that there's 3 playgrounds in place: Ruth Hardy Park, Highland Park, and Aparisto Park. Nothing about pickleball. We've had several delays, and we have those delays from a lot of people who don't live here. People who are non-residents or people who live here and don't pay property taxes. For instance, the tree people. They don't pay taxes here, they don't live here, although they have a huge voice here. And in speaking for the people who spoke prior to me, I think that we deserve answers to the timelines of when this project is going to begin, how long it's going to take, and what are you doing to facilitate temporary pickleball playing? Are you going to utilize the courts at Ruth Hardy Park, or is that tennis community just that strong and we're not? When you go look at the 2 facilities, Duluth Park and Ruth Hardy Park, you'll recognize those courts are not being utilized at Ruth Hardy, but those at Duluth are. And so, in closing for the 3 minutes, I just hope that you guys actually, and the city actually steps up and do what you talked about. Thank you.
Thank you. I assume we are done with public comment then. Yeah, okay. Thanks, everyone. So, our first director report from our new director. I really want to quote RuPaul, but I won't.
I mean, you still can, that's okay.
I mean, I'm not a city employee, I can say what I want, right?
Well, good evening, Parks and Recreation Commissioners. If you haven't already met me, my name is Nick Gonzalez, and I'm so excited to join you all as the Director of Parks and Recreation for the City of Palm Springs. It's been about 8 weeks now as I'm in this role and still learning a lot about this community and about the department. But I want you to know that you have my commitment to making sure that we are doing the best that we can in serving our community and serving you all as commissioners. And so I'll go ahead and give you a brief presentation about what's been going on in the department. A couple of city council agenda items. On January 9th, we took 2 items to the council for approval. One was a cleanup item related to an ordinance to change and modify signage posting requirements. There was in the municipal code, there was some code language that said that we needed to have signage at every 100 feet in parks. That would be way too cumbersome, and it would just clutter our parks with signs everywhere. So we cleaned that up into just making sure that signs are posted at the main entrances or at the city manager or his designation. The other was an electrical maintenance and installation services contract. This is an on-call contract for installation services at various city-owned buildings and city parks for our department. And to give you an idea of some upcoming items, February 13th will be very busy for us at the City Council meeting. First is we are taking forward the Parks and Recreation Master Plan. So I know a lot of you have been part of that project over the past year and a half or so. We are really excited to finalize that and get that approved and then have that as a guiding document for us moving forward. Second, as was mentioned in some of the public comments today, is that Duluth Park Pickleball Expansion project will go to the council for approval on February 13th. The idea here is to have the final plans and have council approve them, so the documents can then be put out to bid. And I know the Pickleball Ad Hoc Committee members have some talking points that they'll share later on to this evening's presentation. Of course, at our Beach Commission meeting, we also recognize some new members. Unfortunately, my face is on there, but I am, of course, a new member to the team and excited to be here. And then also we have Edberto Collazo, who's a park ranger on our team. He comes to us where he has experience serving as a park ranger from the city of Lancaster. And so he's really eager and excited to join the department and enhance our park ranger team. So of course, we're excited and really eager to have him on board. Some other things to be aware of what's been happening since our last commission meeting. On December 6th, the community gathered for a free Christmas tree decorating workshop at the James O. Jesse Desert Highland Unity Center, where staff provided cookies and hot cocoa for the community to enjoy during this festive event. On Saturday, December 21st, we welcomed over 700 attendees for our annual Breakfast with Santa event at the Pavilion. This was my very first event as part of the team, and it was so rewarding to see the team welcome so many community members in our facilities. We were also very thankful to host this event in collaboration with the Palm Springs Skate Softball League, who helped provide us with delicious breakfast treats. Families who attended the event were also able to enjoy crafts, festive carolers, and of course a meet and greet with Santa and Mrs. Claus. A special thank you goes to the Palm Springs BMW, our biggest sponsor of this year, as well as Contempo Lending, Palm Springs Cosmetics and Dentistry, and Palm Springs Power. Our programming at the Swim Center is growing, and we are excited to highlight our water polo program that takes place each Saturday. Right now, we have about 70 people that participate in this program, with an average of about 25 people coming each Saturday. So it's really exciting, and the program is growing over at the Swim Center. This month, we are also highlighting our mature adult program that is located at the James O. Jesse Center. This program is geared towards adults ages 55 and up, where we host events like field trips, technology assistance, a Let's Do Lunch program that's provided by the Jewish and Family Services. And this is really a fantastic program where we are building community, and it occurs every Wednesday from 10 to 12. And excuse me, as I mentioned, our park rangers are a great asset to our team as they are out there patrolling all of our parks. As you know, they monitor our parks to ensure safety and compliance among all of our park users. Pictured here are some photos from their most recent cleanup effort at Desert Highland Park. And currently, the park rangers are patrolling our parks Monday through Thursday, but in the coming weeks, we're actually expanding that program to be 7 days a week. And they have also recently begun monitoring the city-owned trailheads all throughout the city.
Can I ask you something about the Rangers?
Sure.
How many do we have, and how many openings do we still have?
We have 3.75 rangers at this time, and I'm sorry, part-time employees.
I'm like, how do I have a 0.75 person?
Sorry, part-time employees. And so we have 3 of them that are on shift now, and then we have 1 vacancy.
Okay.
And so we have other vacancies throughout the department, and so it'll be a little bit until we fill that role.
Thanks.
Sure. Some maintenance and facility highlights for us. Recently, we partnered with Public Works to have a refresh of the Tiny Top play area over at the Leisure Center, where we have new sandbox sand and new sawdust replaced, and the area looks really wonderful now, right in time for our Tiny Top program, which just started back up. At our dog parks at Demuth Park, we have some new signage where we have new directional signs to inform the community of the small dog park. And we also have new dog park rules that are posted at the entrance of the facility. So hopefully our users can comply with some of those rules that are there. Also, we have been having some drinking fountains that were painted and repaired at several parks throughout the facility. So thank you to the Public Works team for doing that. And we have new decomposed granite that was prepped and laid by the pickleball courts over at Demuth Park, which you can see on your left. And new mulch was placed at Barista Park, which will look very nicely once the playground renovation will be completed. And now I have some project updates, which I'll have John from our team, our project manager, give you some brief updates on.
Hey,
Good evening, everyone. Sorry about that. Okay, really quick, so Desert Highland Park, phase 1 is complete. That actually wrapped up last week, so that was the installation of all the equipment. There's 11 pieces up there. We were due to start today, but we hit a rain delay on this project today. So it's a little bit too moist when we out there and start doing concrete. Phase 2 will be kicking off tomorrow at 8 a.m. Was due today, like I said, we had a rain delay. They're gonna go out, put in concrete curbing around the areas and then fill that with rubberized surfacing. So it'll be very similar to the ones that the new surfacing in our newer playgrounds like we have at Victoria and to meet. Oh, and then ribbon cuttings, we're still working on all that stuff, sorry. Still working on coordinating that for both of these projects as well, so you'll keep everybody informed. Baristo Park, again, was supposed to kick off today, but just hit a rain delay, we saw some more rain coming in, so talked with the contractors there, and they just decided best to hold off. We didn't want to tear anything up, trying to bring out some of the wood chip for some of the equipment within the track equipment. It's relatively low impact, but running that over wet grass, you just tear it up a lot more, so figured give it one more day. Everything's still there, as far as, I'm sorry, it's still on track to be completed on time. Hoping that, don't hold me to it yet, but hopefully this will be done a lot quicker than that. But we have some extra time there, just, we had little things that we did today. And so as soon as we have a better idea of when that's gonna be completed, again, ribbon cutting there, but hoping before the 4th, if not, we will definitely be done. No problem by then.
And that concludes our director's report, unless any of you have any questions.
I do, please. Do we have an update on the lights that we were thinking about putting on each of the playground? On tops of the canopy?
Yeah, so I received a demo unit from Miracle Playground, she's one of our vendors we use, we're using them on Baristo. And they sent us one, it was DOA, so they sent us another one. I'm not sure if it's gonna work, we've tested on a couple different conditions and there's a few issues. One is the light requirement meets, does it provide proper light, right? We don't light anything else, so there's a precedent that nothing is lit. If we light it, is there adequate lighting? Kind of opens up a legal gray area. If something's lit but not lit enough, and then there's an injury, where does that leave us? Also photometrics as far as impacting neighborhoods, these aren't cutoff lights, they're not directional, they're more like floodlight. How does that impact surrounding communities, neighbors, and how does that impact migratory birds, things like that. And the other thing we have to make sure with our lights is that our park closes at 10, we turn off our lights at 10 o'clock. And the ones that are available now don't have that option, or these units don't. I'd asked, is that something that could be built in? Is that something we got customized? If it's not, but I did have fortuitously another vendor reach out to us and try to coordinate something with possibly Thursday of this week, if not next week, to try and get something to look for another option to bring some kind of light to the playgrounds. And that's something I know we hear all the time.
Thank you.
Yep.
Actually, I have a question. Sure. Do we have an update or have we found a resolution for the Gulf War situation at Demuth and Desert Highland?
No, I've been working, trying to find something, and I was actually up at Desert Highland today, and I talked to Jarvis about that, just to see his thoughts on, the community reaction or, thoughts on how about best going about mitigating that. This is causing a lot of damage. And I've also spoken with Kimley Horn, who's one of our consultants, about looking at some solutions for that. And I know that they have some info that they're working on getting back to me. A lot of what we've heard, without going too far into details, we see lots of country clubs, we see golf courses, airport, these other areas where we don't see that issue, but there are further options that can be deployed there that don't work in a park setting, like we can't put out baits and poison, public perception. Yeah, exactly. Gassing and things like that. There's other ways that it's done, but doing it in the park, in public view, it's poses a whole set of other challenges. So something we definitely want to get a hold of, and it's warranting a discussion of, do we go in there and just regrade and say, okay, we need to have a fresh reset and then really be on top of it, to really knock down the activity that's in there? Is that the most effective way, short of any kind of chemical measures, so.
Move on.
Anything else?
Yeah, just to piggyback on that a little bit. So, I play a lot of ball and the fields are just looking amazing. You guys have done a really good job keeping up on that. The lights are doing fantastic. But the Gophers, I don't know who's doing it, but they're getting rid of some.
Yeah,
So
we-
they're sending me pics of the little creatures and they're doing its job and we're getting less and less holes out there because when you run around that outfield in those gopher holes, I mean, it's a little dangerous. There's landmines, you know what I mean? So they've been doing a good job. So I want to make that comment, bring that up.
Yeah.
That
thank you.
they've done well around the ball fields, but I know Desert Highland and
It's terrible.
it's pretty bad.
It is, yeah, and I know that there has been some discussion with our landscape contractor who performs all that, and have been asked to step that up, that mitigation, what they can do with the means that they have, they've been asked to increase that, and I've heard that a little bit. I did hear that a little bit about JOJ, but it's still nowhere near where it needs to be, and it's just, a lot of that area is where open land versus other areas where we kind of have a lot more bordering areas where it's a little bit more effective control versus everything's coming in from the desert. We don't have that laying in our favor. But good to know. Thank you.
Yeah. So.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
The action items, no?
Yes.
So here is the, for your review and approval, this is the commission meeting schedule for 2025. I know we sent this earlier today, but it's pretty consistent with, being the fourth Monday of every month. The only change is May, because of the Memorial Day holiday, we are looking to change that to the third Monday of the month. Obviously in August, we will have the summer recess and then we will, have December as to be determined. Just because it pushes really close up to the holidays. But this is ready for your review and approval. And if you approve it tonight, we'll go ahead and publish it on the city website to make sure, the public is aware of it.
Move to approve.
Second.
Awesome.
Roll call vote.
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead for a roll call vote. Commissioner Emmerich,
Approved.
Commissioner Davis,
Approved.
Chair Moralia,
Approved.
Vice Chair Coladonato,
Approved.
Commissioner Diaz,
Approved.
Commissioner Ferguson,
Approved.
Commissioner Fine,
Approved.
Commissioner Finlich,
Approved.
Commissioner Navaja,
Approved.
Commissioner Roddy.
Approved.
Motion carries.
Great, thank you. Next is we have a brief update presentation regarding our Project Evergreen at Demuth Park. What we want to start doing is bringing forth to you all different presentations about highlighting different efforts that the department is putting forward. So this is a recap presentation from a couple weeks ago that we had a partnership with Project Evergreen. So in partnership with Project Evergreen, the city of Palm Springs was chosen to receive some donation of green space renovation at Demuth Park Ball Field Quad, but specifically Ball Field number 4. Project Evergreen and members of the Sports Field Management Association, who was actually in town for their annual convention, teamed up with city staff to give the baseball diamonds a makeover and provide a safe, well-maintained, and accessible ball field and recreational space. So it was really exciting to see over 70 people come out and participate in that. And of course, thank you to Jason and John for showing up and being there to support this effort. Also, just to give you a little bit about what the project included irrigation repairs, including adjusting heads for proper radius, new pitching rubbers, home plates, and base sets that require distances, installed Bermuda sod and overseeded, supplied and installed infield mix, supplied and installed grade infield mix to cut high areas and fill low areas, and spread 1 ton of conditioner on each of the infields. In addition to that, Project Evergreen, what they do is they estimate the overall project value of the efforts that they do as part of their volunteer work. And this estimated project value for this effort was about $40,000 in donations that were received. And because of all the volunteers, it equated to about $15,000 in volunteer time. They also have an assessment that they put together that relays the impact that it has to the community and of course to the environment. And they're projecting here about 64,000 pounds of carbon dioxide that was sequestered as part of this project. About 69 people overall benefited, 99,000 miles driven offset of carbon emissions, and then about 97,000 cubic yards of clean air that was produced. So a highly impact to our ball field renovation in partnership with Project Evergreen. So that gives you just a little bit of what the project did. And this was about 4 hours of volunteer service that the volunteers from the conference participated in. And that concludes our report on that.
That was a super cool project. I was really excited that the city got picked for it. I mean, I made a pitch while I was there to say, like, can you pick us every year? Like, don't you want to be here in January for your conference? Come on. We'll see. But yeah, I was also at this thing. This is for the plaque, right? Do you have the actual?
We have a photo of it.
Yeah.
And so this is a presentation regarding the plaque that will be installed at the James O. Jesse Desert Highland Community Center. And I'll turn it over to John to give a brief update on it.
Hey everyone, long time to see. So what we're looking at up there, the picture on the top left is the existing plaque that's at the front entrance of the JOJ Community Center. And it's kind of offset to the left, like there's room for more. So right below that is the rendering of what we're working on getting now that will go directly to the right. So it'll be the same material. We're gonna get a piece of plexiglass acrylic that goes over just like the one that's there. The vendor said, hey, it's probably overkill, but we want to match what's there, just make sure it's protected from all the elements, anything like that. So we've had several different discussions with the Desert Highland Gateway States Community Group over the past several months and coordinate a lot with Cynthia Session and Shakoya Whites. Thank you. Shakoya Whites. And so a lot of coordination on there has really helped to us. The last meeting we were at, we met with them to go over the final verbiage, presented our final draft, asked for edits. So they did come back with some pretty significant edits. But I've had several discussions with some of the surviving honorees that we're looking at on this plaque to verify their details. Cynthia and Shakoya were able to coordinate with them. Everybody's in agreement on what they want the plaque to say, the verbiage, and also placements and the material. Everybody was in agreement that yes, that's a great spot for it. Let's make it look just like the other one. Well, stylistically, let's make it flow. So target install date, we're hoping, I was gonna try and get that ordered today. We had to get a requisition set up and I had about 2 hours before this meeting, I was going back and forth with the vendor who's putting this together. So we should be able to get that ordered tomorrow. There's a 3 to 4 week turnaround. We want to get that in next month if possible. We're asking them to expedite as quickly as possible to tie in with the exercise equipment that we're doing out there, but also with Black History Month. And we want to have a larger event up there with everybody, and that's something we're coordinating on with the ribbon cutting for the equipment, dedication to this plaque, making sure we have people who are the survivors still there. Any questions from anyone on that?
Have you talked to them, Jody? I mean, I just read the final thing. Are they happy?
Yeah, I mean, at the meeting, if they were chewing it up and there were people there that were on the original committee saying no, like, but they were able to speak to them and he's been meeting with them. So when I was up there last Wednesday, yeah, they're happy with where they're at. So
cool. Great. Details come. Thanks everyone.
All right, and last four presentation items, what we're also doing is we're pulling out upcoming special events so that you have that as kind of a separate item, so you have an idea of what's coming up until the next commission meeting. So real briefly, I kind of want to just run through some of our upcoming programs that we have. First is in partnership with the Palm Springs Black History Committee. We are hosting an annual adult basketball tournament on Saturday, February 8th, and that will be at the James O. Jessie Center. Also on February 15th, each month we host a community craft market at the Youth Community Center. So the next one will take place on February 15th. And if anyone is interested in participating in this event and renting a spot and selling some items, please reach out to the Youth Community Center staff and we'll get you signed up for that. Also coming up at the Demuth Community Center on February 14th, we are hosting a Love and Loteria game nights. We are asking the community to join us for an evening of fun featuring lots of Valentine's Day goodies and a friendly game of Loteria for that event. We are also once again excited to host a multitude of events in celebration with Black History Month and in the city of Palm Springs. And pictured here and also in your agenda packets are several events that are occurring, such as tours, mixers, arts exhibits, and much more all throughout February.
I can give you all the details.
And then, of course, the culminating event as part of Black History Month is the 38th Black History Parade and Town Fair that is put on by the Palm Springs Black History Committee. This event will be on Saturday, February 22nd. That'll start with the parade, where the parade will begin at Baristo and Palm Canyon, and then we'll go down and end at the downtown park. Following the parade, we'll have the town fair in the downtown park, and this year's theme is African Americans and labor. And then lastly, we have, another event that we have going on as part of in February is our Valentine's Day Cookies event as part of Village Fest. This will be held on February 13th. We will have cookie decorating for the community to enjoy as part of Village Fest in downtown Palm Springs. And then just making another pitch again for the programming over at the Swim Center. This is our water polo program. It happens each Saturday from 12:30 to 2:30. And of course, you can also email the Swim Center to sign up for our email list and learn more about all of our robust program offerings that we have there. And that concludes the Buccaneers Football Adventures.
Want to talk about that one?
Sure. Sorry, that didn't get on here.
It's in April.
It's in April. It's World Art Day on Saturday, April 12th. Thank you very much. And so that is also going to be at Downtown Park.
Yeah.
And so we are inviting a lot of artists to participate in that event, and we have artist sign up going on now. And so we're really excited to host that event early in the afternoon to ensure that everybody can have other festivities later on that evening.
I only brought it up because the commissioner and Fine are part of the planning of that,
Gotcha.
and we need help.
Yes, I was supposed to be in that planning, but I was working, so yeah.
I know.
You were there in spirit.
So we're gonna get to ad hoc reports, but since we have a new director and a couple of changes on the commission, I just wanted to go back over who is on what ad hoc, and if you want to still be on that, if you want to be on a different one, whatever. Do you have the?
So you all have a copy
Yep.
in your packet.
Yeah.
And then I'll check in.
Okay.
Can I have something? I also just want to make sure, so that I understand, I'm gonna play the new card just for this meeting. But just so that I have an understanding of what your expectations are for each of the ad hoc committees. And so I'd love to make sure that one, that I'm meeting your expectations for each of the individual ad hoc committees. And two, if we do not need to continue them, please also let me know so that we can make sure that we discuss that as part of this process. So thank you.
Very good. The only one that I could think of that we might be able to get rid of is master plan. Since master plan is going to city council and it won't be this interactive situation, unlike pickleball, even though that's going to city council, that still needs to exist.
Correct.
I will say the pickleball ad hoc is different from the other four. The other four do not have a public component to them. It is merely the commissioners and the city staff. Pickleball has a public component to it.
Got it. Thank you for clarifying.
Of course. So dog park is currently these two people. That's Vice Chair Coladonato and Chair Moralia. And Daniel Ballister, who I think you all know, he moved, so he's no longer part of the commission. I don't think we need a third person on that ad hoc. But if somebody feels compelled to be part of the dog park ad hoc, let us know. No? So we're good with just the two, right? Okay. The swim center is currently Commissioner Admire and me. We haven't had a ton of movement, although I assume that Maria's latest iteration of the plan will be coming soon. The swim center is a fairly active group of people, so we could put another person on there, or we could leave it as two. And I'm happy to step aside if somebody feels more compelled to be part of the swim center. But up to you guys. We really want you to be part of the ad hocs that you are going to be passionate about, is the point. We're all good on swim center? Okay. Master plan. 86 master plan?
I have a comment about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that the master plan ad hoc committee probably has two phases to it. One is the all the work that's been done to date. And then after it goes to the city council in February, then there's implementation of the master plan. So I'm not sure the reasoning to get rid of it. But I think there's a place for the ad hoc committee to stay.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's a good observation. I think also with Nancy's addition to the committee, it's nice to have some additional reinforcement there, and she's been a nice resource for me when we were finishing up kind of the first phase and getting to the point where we were publishing, information and, asking for kind of a letter on behalf of the commission. Nancy had some nice recommendations as we were drafting that, which I appreciated. So I think I could see that transitioning from planning to implementation, and I think having some additional background there would be beneficial. So I support that.
Cool. So we'll keep master plan, and Commissioners Ferguson and Davis will be responsible for making the city continues to do their job.
That's not my intent.
That's okay. Park enhancements is currently Commissioners Nagaya, Diaz, and Fine. All good? Clearly, this one is still ongoing, so.
Yeah.
What did I miss? Pickleball. Just kidding. So that's Commissioner Finland, Commissioner Davis, and Commissioner Fine. Are you guys all still cool?
Cool.
Okay. And you want to keep the setup the way it is, right, with the public facing, because I heard from public comment you probably should. Okay. Does anybody feel compelled to perhaps add another ad hoc or not? No.
You have a suggestion?
I was thinking.
I don't have a suggestion. But if you guys do. Like, who's been yelling at you? Yes, I know, the same ones.
Nicholas, what do you think?
Do we need another ad hoc or no?
I don't think so. I think this gives us an idea of what are the main priorities for the department. Of course, the master plan will be huge for us as we begin our first year of implementation. Swim center, as you mentioned, will come forward with the recent designs, and we need to have a lot more discussion about that now that I'm here. And we'll bring that forward at a future commission meeting. Of course, pickleball with a project that will be kicking off. And then park enhancements is an ongoing, just making sure that we're maintaining and keeping the upkeep of our parks. And then of course, dog park, as we get a couple of complaints and ongoing issues that happen with dog park, we need to make sure that that stays as a priority. I think from a staffing perspective, this gives us the ability to make sure that we're hitting all the main priorities throughout the department. And we'll make sure that moving forward, we have regular ad hoc committee meetings, so that you all can be well informed about what's going on from the staff's perspective. So we'll make sure we keep that moving forward.
Cool, thanks. So now each ad hoc will have a moment to give us any updates. We'll end with the most popular. So we'll start with master plan. Either Commissioner Finland or, Davis or Ferguson, either one.
I'll offer a brief comment. Obviously leading into the commission or city council meeting the 13th. And coming off of not meeting in December. I'll coordinate with Commissioner Ferguson and also the staff and make sure that we are buttoned up, as well as obviously our consultants, to make sure we have the appropriate plan, report prepared, and support that in any way we can. So I'll follow up individually on that front.
What's our, how many commissioners do you want to be there? If you could magic wand, how many commissioners would you want at that?
All of you to show support, as many as you can. I mean, this is huge for the department, and you all as well. As I'm very proud of this. You all should be very proud and support the community in these efforts. And so, over the course of the year, as we talk about implementation, I'm going to lean on you all to advocate for additional resources, making sure that not only we get the resources that we need, but that you're holding us accountable for implementation of the plan. And so, I welcome all of you to attend the meeting.
This is for the city council meeting on February the 13th.
And he's assured us it'll be early on the agenda.
Right. Okay. I'm sorry, I totally went out of order. I didn't realize that. So I'll do dog park, which is Vice Chair Paula Donato and me. I'm really happy to see that there's some signs finally at DeRuth Park, and that there actually is a sign that says small dog park that way. It's still lacking, in my opinion. The ground cover in the main dog park still needs a ton of work. I hope that we can get back on track with this project, so regular meetings would be appreciated.
And just to clarify, I was talking about DeMuth, right, and the renovation project.
I mean, I really don't want to say this out loud, but I have not heard a complaint about the City Hall dog park in a while.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Also on that, were they gonna, remember there was that dog piece of art that no one knew what to do with? I thought there was some conversation about putting that in one of the dog parks. You know how the person who came in and showed us all the.
Oh, you mean the Public Arts Department?
Yes,
And they have like
there's a
giant
dog that they didn't know what to do with, and we had made a suggestion, maybe we could put it in one of the dog parks.
I think they're gonna put it in DeMuth Park, but I don't know that it's gonna be in the dog park
Okay.
itself.
Okay,
Are either one of you
it
familiar
was the
with this?
yellow dog, I believe, or
You know,
something.
you know something about this, John?
You have-
Go ahead.
Go ahead, John.
Is that the one in front of the?
I don't
It's
know
not
where-
anywhere.
It's not anywhere, it was extra, they were moving it somewhere, I thought.
Are you talking about the one at the library?
That was at the library.
I think so. Library.
And now it's
That's what I'm
nowhere, right?
thinking.
So I'd gone to, pardon me, Public Arts Commission meeting 2 months ago, I believe, or 3 months ago, and asked, we wanted to move the spider sculpture that's currently in front of the pavilion back over to where it was at the swim center. Because they need a bike rack, and that's, the spider sculpture is a bike rack.
Yeah.
I didn't know that until people told me. So Public Arts, we'd asked if they would be okay with that. They said, fine, make the move. You guys figure out the logistics and paint and whatever, we're good with that. And as part of that, they'd actually approached and asked, hey, we have this dog, our hero dog, the library's asking them to move, and they didn't know where to put it. A lot of people love them, a lot of people don't like them. So they said, is there somewhere where you could put it? We said, well, what if we put it where the spider was? And then move the spider back over to, we proposed this, right? Because this is at their discretion. So they were all good with that, and then Tot, the little sculpture that's out there, little boy, they're working to determine a new placement for that as well, but that's.
So there's a place for the dog now.
Yeah, so our hero plan is to go where the spider rack is now,
Got
for the pavilion, spider rack goes to the pool. And where it was originally, and then to be determined on the top.
Okay.
As soon as we have more updates.
I'm like, I don't know why we're
Where are we
moving pot,
moving
but
everything? That
okay.
costs money.
The functionality for the bike rack, we needed we needed more bike racks at the
Well, we
pools.
brought that up when they wanted to put that guy there.
Yeah, top.
Yeah, well, voices were heard and we're bringing it back, I'll say that, you know, it was a good placement originally, so.
Okay.
Thanks.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
So as far as the dog part, can we get an update on the netting part of where Field 7 is and in the large dog park at Demuth? We had an incident the other day where one of our guys hit a ball and almost hit a dog. The guy got upset. I've seen 2 dogs get hit. So the one bounces, it didn't hurt it. The dogs yelped, but everybody was.
So that hurts
copacetic.
them.
Well, you know, I mean, it was bounce, you know.
It
I've got-
hurts. Come on,
It
Johnny.
hurt, but the dog was okay. But so the netting and then an update on the surface where the Duluth Community Center goes in and it's all dirt. Do we have an update on that or where that's coming along?
Yeah.
Or how it's coming along?
Yes, absolutely. So I think what we can do is we can bring forth the next commission meeting, a broader project update for all of the Dubuque Park renovation. So if you're okay with that,
Yeah,
we can bring that forward and make sure that we include the dog park issues, and the parking lot, restroom building, everything that we're having at Dubuque Park. So we'll do that so we have that agenda for the next meeting.
Is it possible to take that netting piece out of the overall dog park refurbishment, if you will, and just get that done now? Because obviously the fields are being used now. In the summer, guess what? Not so much.
Yeah, sure. We can have future conversations with Public Works about that.
Okay.
Save the dogs.
That concludes the dog park. I'll guess.
Mhm.
Okay. Park enhancements.
Don't really have any updates. I think most of our enhancements are part of our bigger projects. So John covered them with our project updates, but looking forward to completing the playground enhancements at Baristo, going into Route 30. Let's keep the Gophers on our radar so that we can get that baseball field in use this year. So yeah, that's about it. And a shout out to John, Aaron, and even Tabitha. I mean, they've just been great resources and they're just hitting the ground running and they're getting these things. pushed
That
through.
John, not this John.
Yeah, well, and you too.
Let's do swim center first so we can end with the one that's gonna take the longest. Do you wanna do swim center?
Yeah, really no new updates, just waiting for the conceptual plan. I guess that will be coming forth sometime in the next few months.
Have we heard from Maria? Do we know? Will we see it before the next commission meeting is the main question.
No, so I just got updated on that project just last week. So I need to get caught up to speed on that project and we have other recommendations, other issues that have come up over at the swim center. And so I would ask that you give staff a little bit more time for us to really put together a really great project. Make sure that we have that discussed a little bit internally before we bring that forward. And we can have a separate discussion with the ad hoc committee about it.
I mean, I haven't been blasted lately, so have you guys been blasted lately? Okay, there you go. Okay, that's good for that ad hoc. Now everyone's favorite ad hoc, pickleball.
Okay, with regards to pickleball, we heard that diversity of comments during public comments period. And I just want to dispel any anxieties that people may be having with regard to the project. It has not been dormant, it's not dragging its heels, it's moving forward. Have we adhered strictly to the schedule that we had envisioned at the commencement of this project? No. But just in reality, government and projects sometimes take a little bit longer and move a little bit more slowly than people would hope for or anticipate. With that being said, I just want to take a little bit, a step backward, and go down memory lane, and go back to July of 2024. And at that point in time, in the midpoint of that month, our former director resigned. We did have progression up to that point with this project. I was anxious at that time that I didn't want this to fall by the wayside. I reached out to the city manager. I said, we need to keep this going. And he was kind enough to appoint the assistant city manager to spearhead on behalf of the city this project, keep it moving forward. We had two major initiatives we had to address in July of 24, post Ivan's departure. Number one was doing a presentation for the Measure J committee, in which we had to secure additional funding for this project. We did that presentation. We were successful. We did secure money for pickleball projects. Secondly, we had to do a presentation before the city council to, again, secure additional funding for the project. We conducted our presentation. We were successful. So July was a watershed month. The project was moving along. It wasn't dormant, and we did have progress. For the month of August of 24, generally speaking, is summer recess time for city government. I do not have any control over that. I have to, work and accommodate this project around the work schedule for city government. When September and October rolled around, we had frequent phone conversations. When I say we, I'm talking about myself and Lori, the interim director, where we were scouting different locations for alternate sites, so that when this project is going on, those who live in the community and those who are seasonal visitors to the community would have access by virtue of Palm Springs city government to be able to participate in the sport of pickleball. So she was doing, I was assisting on the search, as was, other members of the ad hoc committee. We would have phone discussions, we would have email exchanges, we would have text messages, where we'd say, what about this, what about that, exploring different sites and different locations. I have to say, to Lori's credit, if we had an idea or a concept that come up the very next day, we'd get a response from her. So she was really on top of the project. And I can just step back for 1 second with our assistant city manager. She helped us in July with the securing funding presentations. I mean, she just immediately jumped into the project and took the bull by the horns and did a fantastic job. So my thanks to her, my thanks to Lori. To move forward with my timeline, we go into November. We had a meeting with the ad hoc committee. They put forth different ideas, things that they had concerns about, and things that members of the community had shared with them, they were concerned about. And we did whatever we could do as far as follow up on those concerns. So, nothing was dismissed or shoved under the rug. It was faced head on and dealt with. We go into December, again, it's a time of a bit of a recess period for city government. We go into January. Of course, in December, we have a new director. I reached out to the new director. I had 2 meetings with him to bring him up to speed on what had been previously happening with this project. And we then had a meeting in January of 25 with the ad hoc committee. And just to really reassess and circle back, we were on target with this project. One of the 2 things that were brought up during public comment, I'll have a discussion with the director. We can assess and put forth different ideas as far as website postings. That is something that could be addressed and appropriately handled in going forward so that people have an idea. We've been essentially relying on word of mouth to pass along the messaging on what's happening in this project. I just gave you I know it's hard to believe, an encapsulated version of what's happened in the past 6 months of this. But things have been happening. We do rely upon, by word of mouth to let the, community members know what's happening. And, so that's something we could look at and have the website updated and let people know what's happening, on certain days. I did get, apprised this afternoon from the director, in going forward in the forthcoming weeks of what's happening, and the big watershed moment again is going to be on February 13th with the city council presentation. So, this timeline that I got, we can work on that and put it forth to the public on the website so people know. In the early days of the project, we probably had about 5 community meetings where we really and very assiduously reached out to the public and said, we want your input, we want to know how you feel, we want to know what you would like to see happen with this project. We want to know where you see the possible problem areas occurring with this project. And people did come to the meetings. They were courteous and cordial and insightful. And again, we were receptive to what people had discussed and shared. Nothing was dismissed or swept under the rug. Again, aside from the website issue, that'll be something that the director and I can discuss if we see fit to have another public presentation. But really, it's all systems go with the project. It hasn't been dormant. We can certainly look at different methodologies for messaging to let people know what's happening and when it's gonna happen and what we project will happen at certain dates in going forward. One of the options we had considered was doing a phased project where it be done in increments over the course of time so that parts of the facility could be kept open for the public. In consultation with the city engineer, we just really discovered that would be a big, create a lot of problems. And we'd probably be looking at a project that would run about 1.5 years for completion. So, based upon the recommendations of the city engineer, we decided to do an all-at-once project. I know one gentleman earlier during public comments said something about a project such as this could be done in 3 or 4 months. And while I'm not a professional expert in construction projects, I absolutely cannot fathom something of this size being completed in such a short time frame and completed for usability and to everyone's satisfaction. That seems very abrupt to myself. Again, I'm not an expert, but I apologize. I got very verbose in discussing this, but I will continue to confer with the director. We'll look at different means of messaging to the public. I will keep people apprised, but it's moving forward. The next big day is February 13th, and there will come a day in time when the year-round members of the community and those who visit our fine city will have an opportunity to take advantage of these fine and fantastic forthcoming pickleball courts.
Thanks. Go ahead, if anybody has something to add, go.
Yeah, I'd like to add something to Commissioner Finland's comments. One thing about the timeline after the 13th, maybe to your point around the communication is posting the proposed schedule at the courts at Duluth, since that's where many of the folks are playing and rely less on the website. And particularly that the schedule that I saw that you referenced should coincide with almost the end of this season before time we go to bid, select, etc., and start any preparation at the site. Should be pretty close to the end of April. I remember, and so just thinking about that as this might coincide with the gentleman's comments around the summertime and all of that. And then the second item, like you, I don't have a lot of experience in this. I have had some conversations unrelated to this project around courts. And I would encourage us as we select the contractors, particularly those that are doing the courts, the curing process is extremely important. And I work professionally in this area. I know some facilities that have had some real challenges, and we obviously want to make sure that we get the courts right. And so curing and not getting on too early and getting them, and I don't understand the components of our, our climate and environment and how that affects it. So I would just kind of make a mental note that as we get through this, we want to make sure that once that vendor is selected, that we really are spending time to understand that process, because we don't want to get that wrong. So just more than FYI, something for us to think about on the road.
I think they're all good observations.
Anybody else? I mean, I love the idea of having something at the court like we did with the playgrounds, because that's where the people are, right? So they could just, it's a QR code, you go on your phone, blah, you're done. But we have to be transparent. Like, it can't say groundbreaking is gonna be on May 1st, and I'm standing at the court at May 20th, and nothing's happened. So if it does happen, we just need to update it. Cause that's what's gonna make people angry, right?
Just be transparent, yeah.
Yeah. Pickleball ad hoc probably. Commissioner comments. Anybody have any comments? Go ahead, Commissioner Diaz.
So, it's Vice President of the Black History Committee. I just want to encourage and invite all of you beautiful people to come out, obviously, for the basketball tournament on February 8th at James O. Jessie Desert Highland Unity Center in the gym. And in conjunction with that, my school, Raymond Cree, we've been doing community barbecues. And so we're going to host a community barbecue at 11:30 in the park as well, in conjunction with this.
Like before the tournament?
During the tournament, yeah, so the tournament
cool.
starts, tip off is at 9, which usually means 9:30ish.
Yeah, all right.
But so we'll be out there, trying to, just build community and connections with families and folks that participate in that. This Saturday evening is the Black History Awards, gala event. Tickets are $100 and you can purchase them at our website, which is listed here. www.palmspringsblackhistory.org. This is another great way to show your support for the community, as well as see who, those who support us or who we're going to be giving awards to. And so that's another nice way. It's at the Hilton downtown. I know in the past, the Black History Parade and Town Fair, I know Parks and Recreation did at one time giddy up in a little golf cart and participate in the parade. So I'm always helping as a committee member, we're organizing it, running it, so I won't be riding in anything, but please think about getting together as a Parks and Recs Commission and being an entry and helping support that. And then another thought would be, I know you said you guys will be participating in the town for having a booth or something set up, maybe activities for kids would be great in the downtown park. And then something that we didn't have a paperwork on, but we are doing on February 14th on Valentine's Day. We're doing a daddy and daughter dance, or grandpa and little one, or uncle, or whomever they're, whomever it is that they consider in their lives as important. On February 14th, also at James O. Jessie Desert Highland Unity Center at 5 p.m. on February 14th. So please feel welcome to come to that. And I'm sure there's something I'm forgetting, but
When is the little kids basketball?
we did that already. That's always
Oh,
at Martin
okay.
Luther King
Gotcha,
weekend. Which we didn't
Right,
get a
because you did a
good-
micro league too this year, right?
we didn't get a good turnout. Desert Hot Springs also ran one the same
Oh.
day. Which we didn't know about. Somebody shared that post with us. Somebody from Parks, Maria, who works up there, shared that with us like the day of. We were like, oh, fantastic. But anyway, the year before we had a really good turnout, so it all depends.
What time does this parade start?
Parade starts at 11, kickoff at 11. And so, usually we ask people to start showing up around 10 or so and finding your spot and getting ready to go.
It's downtown, right?
It's downtown. We stage up at Baristo. So it runs from Baristo down to Vallejo, maybe Amato. I don't know where we stop. And then we go to the downtown park for our town fair. And there'll be, there's usually a few performances of groups and organizations that are in the parade. They perform there. And we have there's a few food trucks out there and activities for kids and booths set up.
So you think that Parks and Rec should have like in the parade, maybe just?
I think Parks, I think every commission in the city of Palm Springs should have representation. I think, Parks and Rec should, you guys can jog along. Parks and Recs come out, play pickleball down the street in the parade. I don't know, come up with something, but yes, I think you guys
Yeah, I
should.
brought my golf cart out a few times and now I've got a little bit bigger one, so.
You can
know,
put a
that's
few more
something we
people
can-
on it.
we can Come up with and.
Be happy to.
Little banner, we used to have a banner that says Parks and Rec on it, and then we'd have it, the commissioners and
That'd be fun.
walk around and.
As long as only like, whatever it is, 4 of you talk about it at once. Whatever the number is, I
Yeah,
forget. I can't be in it. I will be at the Vintage Trailer Show right next door for Modernism Week.
Well, if anyone wants to do it, I'm happy, but I'm leaving for Morocco Friday, so I won't. I'm excited, but I won't be back till after a lot of these events, but I'm here for the 22nd if anyone wants to do something. And I'll check my
There you
emails.
go.
We could talk.
Mhm.
All right.
Any other comments? If not, then I would ask for an adjournment at 6:50 PM. Next meeting, I have no idea.
February 24th.
Thank you, February 24th, 5:30, same place.
That day.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay.
Second.
Yeah, okay.
6:50.
Okay, so we have to figure out what we're gonna do. Anybody else wanna do the parade? Let me know.
I'll do it. I may.
All right.
but we need,